Hey, what's up, everybody? Danny Lightning here with P.G.O, Positively Geeking Out, or some may know him as Anti-Pirate, as his screen name goes.
Hi, guys.
Hopefully everybody's having a great day today. So, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about the brand new Titan that come out. So, what do you think about that thing, P.G.O?
What do I think about Minos? I have a lot that I'm thinking about Minos. I got to try it at level 90 with the max retaliators that I normally run on my Nodens. I know you've tried it at 90 and at 150 with your battle wreck account. So I've had my experience with it has been pretty consistent. But well, first I'd like to hear you because you have those two different experiences. What is your first impression actually running it on the live server?
Very fun. Very fun. Not great in a team match, though. Like, when there's 2 or 3 other Titans, that's a little bit rough. But on, like, a one-on-one situation, or against, like, regular robots, that thing destroys everything. But when there's several things shooting at it at one time, even if you've got your little shield going, you can still take it down and destroy it. So it's not the best for team fights, but it's great for, fighting just like 1 or 2 robots at a time. But I mean, I've played the maxed out one and I've played the level 91, and I can actually feel a pretty noticeable difference between the 2 levels. Maxed out, it does really, really well. At level 90, it does pretty darn good. So I'm having a lot of fun with that thing so far. What level is yours, P.G.O?
Mine is just level 90. I haven't put any platinum into it yet because I'm getting so close to maxing out the Nodens that I'm just going to leave that be for the time being. So that's also, I'm also just running the retaliators. I actually would really like to try it with different weapons, but I don't have anything really to work with there. You got people asking, Tara Road's asking, is it an Arthur killer? I would say not directly. I mean, it has less firepower than basically any other Titan. I mean, not exactly counting Kid, because Kid only gets the part-time alpha weapon. I think that's the interesting thing. I mean, Danny, you were saying that it's not great in a team fight, but I mean, hypothetically, there's no single Titan that should be able to just go take out multiple Titans. Obviously, levels matter. I mean, that's a mantra I say a lot. Levels matter. A level 150 Titan with maxed modules is going to can take out like multiple Titans, as long as it's not taking them on multiples at a time. Because my Nodens, I can take out 2 or 3 Titans as long as I fight them one at a time.
True.
Because 4 retaliators with 100% defense mitigation is a very, very dangerous thing.
Now, I mean, my Arthur, I can take that guy into a team fight with that shield, and as long as nobody's beside me or behind me, I can usually take out 2, sometimes 3 Titans, depending on who I'm up against. I mean, Arthur is like a team fighting fortress, basically. And we got a question there, is the Arthur safe from a nerf? I mean, that's kind of, we just never know what they're going to decide to do on the game. So, I mean, I don't think anything's actually ever safe from a nerf, but Arthur did just recently get nerfed. They lowered his defense points at each level, so a lot of people didn't realize that, but he did get a small nerf already, so I don't really see him getting another one anytime soon.
But that was just changing the defense point curve. They did that for all the Titans.
Yes.
It wasn't just for Arthur. They wanted to change the mid-level defense on all of the Titans, so that people that are encountering them in like Expert and Master League have a little bit more that they can do against them. So that isn't specifically targeted at Arthur. Now, I mean, for one, we had the Titan rebalance, basically the first Titan rebalance at the beginning of October. And when did Nodens come out? That was in what? Was it in May? Yeah, I think it was in May. So depending on if they change the frequency, we're at least not going to see a nerf on Arthur, I think, at least in the next 3 months or something like that. They do tend to space out the rebalances. But I think there's a real chance that Arthur will get nerfed at the next time they go to rebalance Titans.
I sure hope
because
not.
it is. I think it's the strongest Titan right now. Like, just in terms of sheer power, Arthur's the strongest Titan. So it is definitely in range of getting nerfed, and it's going to become very popular. And that's another thing they look at.
I agree. It is definitely what I would call the strongest Titan at the moment. But I think a lot of people are going to want to switch over to the new Titan, Minos, just because there's the fun factor there as well. Because, I mean, most of the Titans are kind of slow moving, they're kind of boring, they're just big and they're tanky, and you can't really do a whole lot with them. But with this new guy, you can move around the map, you can run around, and it's just so much more fun, I think. So much more fun, so...
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a fun playstyle. And I think I got misled by the imagery of the Titan, because when you see it, right, it's like this minotaur. It's this big bull with horns. It's almost something that you would expect to be like primarily a brawler first and foremost. It really kind of has that look. But Pixonic said before releasing it that the role that it's supposed to play is that of a saboteur, and I kind of didn't register that until I actually got to really playing it. I'm like, oh wait, this has the least firepower of any of the premium Titans, and there's that text. Wow, coming in real fast.
It took a while. It took a while to show up.
There we go. Yeah, it took a while. Now we have something on the screen. So yeah, it's not like a frontline brawler the way Arthur is. It really, its advantage is its speed, and you have to kind of play it like that. It is that saboteur role, and I guess really whether or not it's going to be really powerful depends on if there is a space in the meta for a saboteur Titan, right?
Yeah,
because it can definitely get around the map faster than any of the other Titans.
That's definitely kind of what he is too. He just runs in, and if you can find like another Titan on low health, like if you can find an Arthur, even if his shield is intact, but that Arthur is on low health, you can just run in, hit him real quick twice with that ability, and you can take that Arthur out pretty quick. But like a full health Arthur, not so much, you know what I mean? He's definitely more of an assassin or saboteur type thing, like you're saying there.
Yeah. Exactly. The saboteur role really, if it's playing off another Titan, like if you have like an Arthur that's going head to head with a red Arthur, and then you bring the Minos around the side and flank it.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you've really taken advantage of that extra speed.
That's definitely a good strategy. All right.
And it also works. Oh, go ahead.
We got Silverhawk asking, the game has taken a huge player base drop. Do you think it can make a comeback? They just made remastered. Okay, they're working on getting remastered up and running. I think when most of the bugs are worked out, I think a lot of the old players might end up coming back to try it out once they hear everything's fixed. Plus, there's always going to be new players joining. So yeah, I think the game can definitely make a comeback, even if it has lost a lot of players. It's just gonna take a little bit of time for them to get everything right, you know.
Yeah, I personally agree that the rockiness of the remaster release is a big part of why we're seeing a lot less players right now. The question really is that what is the new player experience going to be like coming out of that? Because I do think the technology behind the remastered, once they get stable with it, is going to mean a big improvement for the game. I mean, if you see the number of improvements they made with the 6.6 patch and how quickly that came out after 6.4, and just the number of iterations that they did on the 6.4, I think the tech behind remaster is going to allow them to improve the game a lot faster than they have been.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, people always complain that they prioritize content over quality of life type features, and I think the technology behind remastered will create the space for them to really get that kind of those kind of quality of life features rolling much faster. We're going to see, apparently they're going to update their servers. They're replacing their servers.
That's going to be great.
Platform merge might happen. Like there's a lot of things that are happening really fast. I mean, just look how quickly they turned around the lighting on Carrier. for example.
That's true.
Right? I mean, right? Like, it became obvious pretty quickly that was not an ideal look.
Oh, it was
made a
terrible.
lot of bots look kind of bad.
I hated it.
And then they turned it right around. It's just like, there you go. Now it's still a sunset, but you can see the colors on your bots now.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a nice idea. Oh, let's make a map with the sunset. We'll get the nice golden hour going on, but it really did take away from the beauty and the detail of all the new graphics upgrades and all that kind of stuff. So it was not an ideal coloring at all. Like I still notice though some of the robots inside of the hangar look a little bit weird.
Yeah, I mean that was I think my impression with remaster, especially throughout the test server, is that just like the lighting was just really weird. You get like crazy harsh lighting on Canyon and stuff. This is why I like Moon, is that Moon actually did a really good job with the subtleness of the lighting.
That one looks amazing. That's probably the best one so far.
I remember they experimented with lighting effects on they did a beta test on Steam, like I think almost 2 years ago now. And when they did that on Moon and you went underneath the structure, it was like pitch black. You couldn't see anything.
I remember that actually.
But then they do it this time around. They got much more subtleness to it. And yes, Nitro, you can ask questions. We'll try to pick up on questions from the chat.
Yeah, I see somebody. I see Turbo Knight has a question for you now. Real quick, Ivano, yes, I agree. The economy nerfing and stuff definitely has a negative effect, but I kind of have a feeling they've seen the negative effect coming, and they might start making some changes to boost things up a little bit. At least we're hoping. But yeah, if you want to get the Turbo Knight's question, P.G.O, go for it.
Do I think the sonic weapons will bring back mid-range brawling? That is an interesting question, because the sonic weapons have the 200-meter range, but that's going to interact differently with different bots. Like, we could see a comeback for the Ravana that can take advantage of that short range by getting to that range relatively quickly.
That's scary.
So it's really gonna depend on the speed of the bots and what bots the weapons get played on. The one thing that I think might see increased potential because of the Soundwave weapon is shields, because the Soundwave weapons don't have the same advantages that most weapons have against at least one shield type. They do have a bit of a scatter, so that you can still kind of do full damage at maximum range, but the maximum range is just so short that doesn't factor in as much. But unlike kinetic and energy weapons, which can like deal extra damage or ignore certain shields, the sound weapons get nothing. So while they do well against a bot's durability, they don't do anything special against shields. So we might see an advantage for bots that have shields.
Well, the one thing I worry about as far as the sonic weapons are Fenrir, Fenrir and Falcon. Those guys love their healing modules. And crap, man.
Yep.
That's going to be rough, not being able to heal up your tanks anymore.
Fenrir, Falcon, and Invader. Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be again, it comes down to which bots you see it on, right? Because if you can stay outside of 200 meters and lock down or suppress your target, and especially if you have the chips available. Fenrir doesn't have very good options for that, or I guess Falcon doesn't either. That's more of an Invader thing, and that's my sort of frame of reference.
I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like little robots running around that just go up to the tank and say, "Hey, Mr. Tanky, I've got a big old crap sandwich just for you."
Right. Of course, people are going to put the Soundwave weapons on their Scorpions, so staying out of the side of 200 meters is going to be maybe a non-option sometimes.
Yeah, 200 meters, though, they're going to be much harder to use than other weapons. So I don't love the fact that they can't heal up, but you do got to get really close before you can use them. And I mean, sometimes if you put them on the wrong bot, you might even get taken out before, you might even get taken out before you can get close enough to use the things. But
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of a bummer that, I mean, if you have like a robot that's a healer, like a Tyr or a Wayland or something, it you know that kind of hurts your silver from your silver
Oh,
earnings.
absolutely. It's going to depend. Like what we're going to see is we're going to see them slowly move into the meta over the next couple of months. Like obviously the Soundwave weapons. I think I've seen one bot running them in a live game. It was like I think it was a Loki. It ran away pretty quickly after my invader started shooting it. But
Yeah.
but once we start, if they reach a certain level of penetration into the meta, then all of a sudden the healer bots are going to seem kind of pointless. Now, of course, there's the fact that Titans don't have that option to use those weapons, so there's still going to be a portion of the game where you're going to see at least some bots without Soundwave weapons on them.
True.
So, and it's when we sort of reach that critical mass, that's when people are going to start calling for those weapons to be nerfed anyways. And one of the ways that Pixonic could nerf them is and change them from 100% degradation to like 70% or something like that.
Yeah, something. I mean, one thing is like someone just says the sonic weapons are going to waste our power cells, but I mean, if it comes to the point where they're everywhere, we're just going to have to stop using healing modules on our robots, I guess. I mean, everybody's probably going to go back to like phase shift type things and whatnot. I'm not really sure, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like once those are everywhere, I'm going to change any robot I'm using healing on. I'm probably going to try to change it to something else. Hey, Dark Light, how's it going?
Hey. Yeah, so I feel like I already said my piece on the sonic weapons. If people are still asking about the sonic weapons, if everyone wants to just talk about the sonic weapons.
Maybe they tuned in a little late. I don't know. Maybe that's someone just showing up. Because yeah, we just kind of did a whole little spiel on those things right there.
But I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see. I am actually, one of the things I like about the sonic weapons is that I'm actually really, really glad that they have a new maximum range. I'm so tired of every weapon having 500 meters as a maximum range. I'm really grateful that we've got something new.
Yeah, I mean, everything these days does seem to have a nice 500-meter range or something like that.
So it still bugs me that there's nothing in there's no light weapon, I think. Is it light or is it medium? I can't remember. But it's that has a effective range around 400 meters. Right? You've got the Viper in heavy.
Yeah.
But you have nothing that sort of matches it on effective range, which is like,
well, the
give me
closest
something.
the closest thing to the Viper is the Wasp, and that's not really a good match for your Viper. So I've always been
it's
wondering
different timing and it's longer range, really.
Yeah, where is the medium Viper? That's what I want to know. All right, Austin, you're asking about the new robot called the Typhoon. I've got no confirmation about that from Pixonic themselves, so I don't know if that's just a rumor or if that's something that's really coming out.
Oh, it's definitely something real. There's definitely been they've been teasing it on Discord in a couple of different ways. I know there's some Pixonic devs that are on Discord and they're like, "Oh, like what's your favorite robot?" It's like, "Oh, my favorite robot is Hawk and Typhoon." Oh, wait. It's like so they've been teasing it for a while.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely a real thing.
I've been slacking.
It's definitely real.
I've been slacking on my Discord reading, I guess.
To be fair, I didn't see it on Discord directly. I saw a screenshot, but
gotcha.
It's definitely real, and obviously they're going to be coming up with new bots. So I don't know anything about it beyond the name. Though I think there was a screenshot somewhere of like its face, kind of like we got of Minos. Does anyone have any questions about Minos? Because I have more to say about Minos, and I'd love to segue back onto that topic.
Tempest just asked a question about Minos. Is it Minos or is it Minos? That's another one.
That's a good question.
I'm not sure if it's Minos or Minos. Like when I watched the video, the Russian guys kind of pronounced it Minos, I believe. But sometimes accent can kind of play into that as well, so I'm calling it Minos because that's what I heard them say, I believe. Unless my ears is broken, which they could be.
Well, we got a question about Minos with the shotguns. Nitro's asking, what's worth it for Minos, machine guns or shotguns? Obviously, the shotguns aren't even out yet, so it's hard to make the call for sure. But I think the Titan shotguns have some very clear weaknesses because they're really inaccurate. Like, they're way more inaccurate than the Retaliators, and the Retaliators are already pretty inaccurate enough.
That was on the test server. It could be always one thing I always say to remember is once it goes live, it could be a little bit different.
That's a good point. They could be more accurate. But one of the things is that I think is that Minos. Now you have me second guessing myself on the pronunciation.
Sorry about that.
Minos definitely has a role to kind of hunt down regular bots because it has that extra speed that the other Titans don't have, and the shotguns might not be the weapon for that job because because of the inaccuracy and the difficulty with aiming them at smaller targets. So this is part of why I want to try ruptures on the Minos, because ruptures do fantastic against smaller bots that are trying to hide from you.
I actually, on my battle rec account, I put the what the heck's the name of that weapon?
Cyclones.
The Titan version of the Scourge. Yes, the Cyclones.
Cyclones are the other option there because you don't have to worry about missing.
And the reload time,
and do tons of damage.
The reload time is so much shorter than the machine guns that works out so good on there. But what I've noticed, the one thing I noticed about the shotguns on the Titan is you still have to get in really, really close before they really start to do their thing really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they definitely have that range ramp element, but at least you don't have to be so precise about aiming them as with Retaliators. Yes. I miss a lot of shots on Retaliators against bots whenever they lag. It's like all of a sudden they're just a couple inches to the right, and I'm like, oh, well, I just missed you with like a whole second worth of shots.
Yeah, I'm really hoping when the new servers come, that's going to take care of all the laggy lag.
Yeah, I'm still confused. Oh, hi, Adrian.
Hey, Adrian, how's it going? Yeah,
obviously,
Raptures
have that reload issue.
Raptures do have kind of a long reload time, that's for sure. All right, Austin, what do we think about the Titans in the future? I kind of imagine the Titans in the future are going to get crazier and crazier. I mean, basically, we started off with, just like the robots in the beginning of the game, you had some real basic robots, and then they just get a little bit beefier and beefier. Then they started getting more technical, so I'd imagine we're going to see a lot more crazy abilities and stuff on the Titans in the future. But I mean, of course, that's just kind of speculation.
Yeah, no. One thing I really want to see is a Titan with a bubble shield, because I'd love to see a Titan-sized bubble shield. I'd like to just like fit your whole team inside it and just roll along. So if they make it too strong with the regeneration, then that might be a bit of a problem. It also would be a weird way to farm honor too, just such a big target. Because there is honor for shooting shields, but
that is true.
Maybe. So I don't know if that's causing them to be hesitant to do that, but I mean, one way to think about it is with the we have sort of a mid-range bot and a support bot and a tank and a saboteur, but we don't have a true sort of like closer range glass cannon. So we might see that was what the next Titan will be. That's just one theory.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like that, honestly.
The straight up DPS brawler.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. Like, I think the Minos is kind of like in between that, you know what I mean? He's pretty durable, but you can take him out pretty easily at the same time.
Lots of durability, but because he lacks the firepower, and his ability only has like a 29% uptime, and you know, when the reflector's up, he's a very, very tough nut to crack between the reflector and the defense points. But as soon as that drops down, he becomes vulnerable, and that's where kind of the saboteur role for a Titan kind of breaks down a little bit, because they're just on some maps there's just no cover, right? And you can't hide and wait and get your stuff back up.
Yeah, you definitely got to know when to go out in the open with that robot. Like, I think one of the most important things is if you don't have a really good shot or it's not a one-on-one, kind of stay behind cover until your reflector shield's ready, and that's when you go out and you pounce. And I mean, that's what's really working for me. But every time I just kind of Rambo it and fly into a battle, it usually blows up pretty quickly. But if I play the Minos a lot more strategically, I end up getting several kills and doing a lot of damage with them. So you got to play them different than you play the other Titans.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I noticed, I was actually playing around with the Minos yesterday, just to try to get a feel with it. And I had this one game, and I actually posted my Minos run on Facebook with this. And there were 2 Mings, and the nice thing with the Minos is that it allows you to close that range from 600 meters to 500 meters way faster than any other Titan can. And so it does provide somewhat of a direct counter for those those longer range weapons.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just going head to head, it is not the strongest.
Now, I see a question about if I've tried the plasma Minos, but I haven't actually tried that yet. Currently, I don't have any of the plasma weapons leveled up. That's something I should probably work on a little bit, because that would be something fun to try as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory, because it has better reload than the ruptures, at least proportionally. But the extra range doesn't really fit with Minos' playstyle very well, because you don't have any need to stay that far back when you can charge like 200 meters in a couple seconds. Or I don't know I haven't actually measured the range on the charge. It's actually something worth checking.
I actually think if you're fighting, say, a Ming with 600 meter range, it's actually nice to have a little extra range on something like that. So I do think the 600 meter weapons or anything over 600 would be a little bit nicer for dealing with Mings in the air. So I think, in my opinion, range is always nice on pretty much everything. But I also see your point at the same time, because most of the time he can easily just get from point A to B really quickly. And the other day I was actually playing with a accelerator module on him, and I'll tell you what, when you hit his ability with the accelerator module, oh man, he traveled so far across the map, especially if you hit it twice. I mean, you could dash halfway across the map so fast, it was insane. Well, I mean, he's just so much fun. You know, I'm seeing a lot of questions about the Typhoon, but honestly, I don't know anything about that yet. Like, I just know people are talking about it. I have no idea what it might look like or what it might do, so I actually haven't got any real information from Pixonic on that. So I can't really go into any details about that thing right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't researched, but I'm still waiting. I'm just waiting for the shell to come out, because that seems like a really fun mod to play.
It is.
I'm not very focused on the Typhoon. I'm trying to remember.
On the first test server, I didn't really like the shell, but I don't think his shield was working properly. And then the last couple of test servers, especially the last one, the shell, it seemed like it was all together, it was working right, and I had a lot of fun with that, actually. But I'm not looking forward to the shell death squads when all of a sudden 6 of those rush into your spawn point and just blow you up.
Yeah, that's an interesting potential, because I definitely remember seeing that with Hellburners, and yes. The shell is just like the same thing, except worse, because it's not damaging itself. It's already got the shields built in. It's got not really twice as much firepower, but I mean, if you're comparing it to a Hellburner with an ECU on it, the shell's got much more firepower.
Yeah, that is very true. When are the Hawks going to get nerfed? Honestly, I don't think the Hawk's going to get nerfed anytime soon. You probably want a few more robots come out. Usually it takes several months for a new robot to get a nerf or something, so I think the Hawk still got some time left. I don't think we're going to see a nerf on him.
Yeah,
So,
my first guess would be in the spring, probably April, something like April, around then thereabouts. That would be my guess. So there's going to be a while yet, which is frustrating because at least in higher leagues we've seen the adoption of Hawk very quickly. I see tons of screenshots with people posting like hangers with 3 or 4 or 5 Hawks in them, and it can definitely be frustrating. I kind of do wish they had released it just a tad less powerful, so people wouldn't have adopted it quite so aggressively.
like at first, I didn't really see that many of the Hawks running around, but now I'm starting to see more and more. And I'll tell you what, man, when they start using those modulative intensifiers with that laser beam, and then you might have like 2 or 3 of them in the air at the same time now, that's starting to get a little bit crazy. So I'm starting to more feel like the real effect that the Hawks are having on the game. And I can see why some people are hoping it gets nerfed soon, because it is pretty devastating when it's in the air. But the good news is you got like scorpions and little robots like that can rush in and just smash it the second it lands. I mean, that's pretty much your goal, is to take a Hawk out as soon as it lands on the ground, because they're very, very squishy. Usually when they land, they can't move very well. I don't know if that's a glitch or if they were meant to be designed that way, but it gets stuck on everything. It doesn't move easily once it lands, and it's really squishy. So it's not hard for a Phantom or a Blitz or a Scorpion or something just to get back there, as long as it's not surrounded by its teammates, and take it down. So
yeah, that's definitely what I like about the Hawk and the Scorpion as compared to the Ravana, is that they do have definable weaknesses. Whereas with the Ravana, the weakness was, if you have like 3 people shoot at it at once, it just uses all its ability charges and then dies. It's like, but that requires 3 people. So at least these newer bots have somewhat of a definable weakness, unlike the Ravana did. I see a question here from Nitros asking whether the sonic weapons are energy. And the damage type on sonic weapons is actually just, as far as I know, I believe I saw this posted by Pixonic somewhere, that it's just untyped. It's the same damage you would get from, say, a spiral or a vortex. It's just, it doesn't do any special bonuses against shields, which is why I was saying earlier that if we see a big shift towards sonic weapons in the meta, that we'll see an increase in value of various shield types. Because they just don't have any special properties. They don't go through antsiles. They don't do double damage to physical shields.
Now I've got a question for you, P.G.O. Once you bring that up, what about like the regular blue energy shields? Do you know if they go through those or not?
My understanding is that they don't.
Oh wait, you just said the ansiles. Never mind. I was thinking you were talking about the Aegis, but you said the ansile. At least I caught myself. But yeah, that would be surprising if they don't go through ansiles. I kind of thought they would, but yeah, they're definitely a different class of weapon altogether.
I think I saw another question about, do we think that energy machine guns and shredders are safe from a nerf? Well, personally, I think shredders are very, very unsafe. Shredders are in deep trouble if they keep getting used to suppress everybody all the time, which is currently what they're getting used to do. As for the energy machine guns, I think we're looking at those being held off at least until the spring, like the Hawk. At least that's my opinion.
I agree. Shredders have been out for a really long time, and they're very strong weapons with a very fast reload time. And if pretty much anything you see out on the map that's widely used, I mean, if everybody's using them and they're older weapons, there's a pretty good chance they're definitely going to get hit with the nerf. But anything new definitely takes a lot longer before they hit something with a nerf, I think. Unless it's just way, way, way overpowered. For example, when they first brought the cryos out, they gave that thing an extra buff. People started using it, they were great, and they eventually nerfed it.
Yeah, but it took them almost a year.
Yeah, it took them quite a while.
From the buff to the nerf.
The funny thing is,
Very
I
long time.
barely noticed a difference after the nerf. What about you? Did you notice a difference after the cryo nerf?
I did, but it felt like that they. I don't know if it's just because I think when they nerfed them, they were still having accuracy problems. At least it felt like to me that they were having accuracy problems. Like I was shooting Arthurs, and I wasn't damaging the Arthur because I was hitting the shield with my glaciers. So by the time they fixed that bug, at least partially, I was so out of practice with the weapons, I don't even know. I mean, I'm running them on my Hawk now, and I usually end up using them at a much closer range. So I'm finding the glaciers pretty good, but the glaciers are the strongest of the three, so it is harder to see the nerf.
It looks like somebody has a question there for you, P.G.O.
Okay.
Where did it go?
What's my favorite robot?
Oh yeah, that's
favorite
what they
robot?
asked.
Okay. Well, my favorite robot, honestly, I've been saying for a long time that my favorite robot is the Bulwark, because I just love switching the shield on and off at the right times. It's a really fun mechanic. But it's kind of been like my last pick in my hangar for a long time, just because it gets destroyed by like Ojuns in particular, because of the flame breath. So Invader might actually be my favorite robot right now. I think Invader might have overtaken the Bulwark. What about you, Danny?
My favorite robot, it's still gotta be the little Blitz. I don't know why, but you throw a Clive Vicious on the Blitz, even though they nerfed it. I actually recorded a video on that the other day, and one of these days I'm gonna have to post it. But Clive Vicious Blitz is just so much fun, especially with some shredders on it. I mean, I would love to get some of those new scatters to throw on it. That's gonna be a crazy setup for sure. But yeah, I just love my Blitz for some reason. So much fun.
I'm looking forward to run Scatter Shredder Blitz. That's good. That's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, that'll be pretty amazing actually.
Because I hate having I hate how little damage you do while the shredders are reloading. So I always like having a couple weapons in there that have a better sustain. So I run like magnums with the shredders. I run corkers with the shredders. I am definitely looking forward to running scatters with the shredders.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing combo, actually.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't like running other weapons with the shredders is I like to be able to lock people down a little bit faster. But like to me, the Quarker shredder is a little bit weird because with the Quarkers, you almost have to aim ahead a little bit, I feel like, when you're shooting at a moving target. Not very much, but just a tiny bit, to where the shredders, you really don't have to do that. So that can be kind of weird to land all the ammo on your enemy there.
I find that aiming ahead is actually just a little bit. It works for most weapons. And I think it should work just fine for the shredders too, because really what you're doing is making sure that while they're moving, that you don't fall off of the auto aim, because there is auto aim. There's always auto aim. It's just the auto aim is pretty small for a lot of the weapons, and you just want to stay in that as they move. So trying to aim just ahead of them, like not off of the targeting box, but just kind of at the front of it, is usually a good aim point for most weapons, honestly.
Lewis, you're thinking of upgrading your Hades? I would say do it. That is one amazing robot. He's not hard to play. He's very powerful. I mean, he's just an all-around, like, well-balanced robot that's a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely upgrade your Hades. And someone says they're since we're getting the drones for free now, something about scrapping them. I don't think the drones are actually going to get scrapped. I think they're here to stay, honestly. It may not cost power cells to activate them anymore, but you still got to spend your gold to buy the chips and stuff like that. So I think the drones are going to be around for a really, really long time. I don't really see them going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that's going to always happen in the game is that they're going to raise the power cap. They're going to add new features to the game that makes it harder to have a truly maxed out hanger because they want to keep moving the target to keep people engaged. And drones, with the way that with like the battery microchips and the different tiers of drones and the different tiers of chips, there's a long way to go to max those out. So that they're going to stick with those for sure. And to be fair, I think drones give some interesting play. I just wish there was more of a way of knowing what your opponent was running by looking at them, because I think that's like an interesting element of gameplay that was true for a long time. You could see a bot's silhouette and see what weapons were on it, and you knew exactly what it was going to do.
Yeah.
That's not true anymore, and the drones, I think, are the biggest break in that. Which is something I complained about repeatedly, like on Reddit and on my test server feedback, is that like give specific drones specific microchip slots so that we can. I mean, obviously the drones are really small, and identifying them visually from a distance is pretty hard. But I would love to be able to say, oh, that person's running a defender. That means they're gonna have defense chip equipped, which means they're gonna have defense points, and being able to respond accordingly. But that's not the way they went with it. It's not my favorite choice, but we're going to have to deal with it. There's definitely some interesting build options, though, with the microchips right now.
I agree. I do agree. So Zuby was asking about, why'd they make remastered if it's still going to have some lagging and some other issues and stuff like that. Well, one thing they announced, like P.G.O mentioned a little bit ago, they're definitely working on getting new servers for the game. That kind of has me wondering if they figured out maybe the lag was, the current servers that they're using and renting off of somebody else. Maybe they're just in need of some new servers. So hopefully, I'm hoping when that change takes place, the lag will be gone. But when I played remastered on the test server, the funny thing is, like, there was pretty much zero lag, or at least very, very little. So I don't think they were actually expecting it to have the lag and stuff that it's having, but I do think they might have pinpointed the problem, and I do think they are working on getting that fixed up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think as much as we all hoped that Remastered was going to get rid of the lag, is that the change in technology that Remastered represents was not something that was inherently going to eliminate lag. I don't know exactly if it's the servers. I mean, it probably is the servers to some extent. One of the things that I'm struggling with is that when I see someone lagging, I don't know if it's them or if it's me. I mean, I know my machine is handling the game quite fine. I'm not getting very many frame drops, and my internet speed is great, but I definitely had times before Remastered where I saw it wasn't just the one bot I was aiming at that stopped moving, it was everybody. And I'm like, that's me lagging. That's not my opponent lagging, that's me.
You know what?
And so
that is a extremely interesting theory about maybe when you see a robot just kind of like disappear and teleport. Yeah, is it them lagging or is it you? I've never actually thought about that.
Well, I mean, so often you're focused on just one robot, so you don't notice whether it's just that one robot that lags or whether it's everything that lags. So, I mean, but to get back to my main point, the shift in technology that Remastered represents is not necessarily inherently going to reduce the lag, but it's going to give them a lot more agility when it comes to developing the game, and I think it will hopefully eventually lead to the elimination of the lag. I think that server shift that we've already mentioned is partially enabled by the fact that they have the remastered technology under the hood of the game.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. You know what? I don't think the little bot is currently working. So if you would like to post a link,
I was actually just getting that ready. I was just opening up my channel and copying the link. I'll have that in just a second.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
I've noticed a couple times someone was asking about the the maps that they took away, and I don't know if you have any information, but I have no information on when those maps are coming back.
Yes,
hopefully soon, because I really miss Factory in Rome. They're my favorite maps.
I believe what's happened is those are the maps they haven't reworked for Remastered yet. And maps are very, very time consuming because there's so much rendering and so much different texturing and stuff to do. I think they're currently working on getting those maps ready for the remastered, and then once that happens, they'll be added back in. So, P.G.O, I'm gonna leave you to talk to these guys for just a minute. I'm gonna get that bot working really quickly. So, I don't know if I turned it off or something, but give me like
I don't know. Sometimes I have a really hard time getting it started at the start of my streams. I have to turn it off and on again like 3 or 4 times.
Interesting.
And there's only one switch, right?
Yeah.
Normally there's like a whole bunch of different things you can turn off and on again when you have a technical problem. So I'll turn off the computer, I'll turn off the program, I'll turn off the feature. But really, there's just one switch, and I just keep switching it until it eventually starts working.
I'm gonna try to do that really quick. So
yeah, I'll try to answer some questions.
I'm gonna step away from my microphone really quick and see if I can get that going. So I'll be right back, guys. P.G.O will still be here to talk to you. So
what are the best tier 2/3 chips? Is a question from Sir Wojenheim III. Especially with tier 3 chips, I'm still experimenting. I mean, I like healing, even though they nerfed a couple of them. I really do like some of the tier 2 healing chips. And I don't know if there's any particular. I find a lot of the chips are useful at tier 2, but it's great that they're like that because it allows you to experiment with them and try them with different numbers on different bots. Because tier 2 chips are pretty darn cheap. But I really don't have a whole lot of tier 3 chips yet, and I'm still trying to figure it out. What I really want to get my hands on a tier 3 acid sprayer and see what that does, and a tier 3 control resistor, but I haven't got those yet. The tier 3 chips that I do have are a rejuvenating intensifier, which if you're going to be running a repair unit, which, may be of dubious value once the soundwave weapons become popular, rejuvenating intensifier is very powerful, and I'm really liking it on my invader. Let's see here. I mean, yeah, I definitely don't particularly miss Yamato, but I hate Yamato a lot less than most people, not because I play mid-range or long range, because I don't, not in a long time, but because I forced myself to learn where the cover is on that map and find the routes and find the tactical approaches that allow me to get where I need to be to brawl. What's my favorite movie or favorite Avenger? Honestly, I really liked. I'm just gonna go with favorite movie out of those. I really did like. Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was a very, very fun movie.
Thor is the best.
Okay, we got a comment about the cost of tier 3 chips. Tier 3 chips cost 3,000 gold, and that is a lot, but at least you get to keep them when you buy them. And also, because of the crafting, if you can get 10 of the same tier 2 chip out of the store, if you're patient, you only end up spending 1,700 gold to get the tier 3 chip. Now, there's certain chips where that's not an option. Do you get points for this episode, Roland? That's a good question. I could go put points in for people manually if I did like trivia questions or something, but unfortunately, you can't get points just for watching Danny's channel, not on my channel at least. Now, if Danny were to set up points, that would be different, but
I don't really know how any of that stuff works yet, so
you got to have an idea for what you want to do, what you want to have them spend the points on in order to make it really worth it.
Yeah, if I didn't have the muscle and nerve problems and I could sit in my chair in front of the computer screen on the webcam, I might actually do some kind of point thing, but I don't know. It'd be kind of hard to do for me, I think, so.
Just come to my channel for that, guys. If you need the points, you know where to get them.
What? I just saw another question here. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh yeah, is there any hope for the? I don't know how to pronounce this. Bulgasari? The Bulgasari? I think that's pronounced way different than it sounds, isn't it?
I don't know. I think Bulgasari is right. Anyways, I haven't answered that question, but if you want to go first, go ahead.
Honestly, I mean that recently got they buffed it not that long ago, and I think they came out with a few things for it. I don't really expect to see it get any more love in the future. I think that's kind of like a mid-range to beginners robot type of thing. It's actually a really, really cool robot, but I just don't really see it getting anything too special. There's a whole lot of old robots out there I'd love to see get some new pilots or some new features, but you know, a lot of us have been trying to kind of talk Pixonic into adding some new features or giving some of those old bots a little love, and so far we haven't really seen it, so I'm not really expecting that to happen. What do you think, P.G.O?
Well, I mean, let's take for example Blitz. Blitz is a bot with the full complement of module slots that honestly had some really glaring weaknesses that made it unpopular, that made it kind of really not in the meta. Then they released Clive at the same time as Ardent Blitz. And for a while there, it was basically the number 2 meta bot. Or behind Hawk or behind Ravana. Kind of between the two. So I think it's definitely a possibility that we could see a similar treatment for other bots. Now, I don't think Bulgasari is on the top of that list. Or at least I hope it isn't, because I have a very personal hope for what that is on that top of that list, but it probably isn't either. I think a lot of people here could probably guess what's on the top of my list that would get that treatment, but I think we could see that happen to a lot of different bots, honestly. It's going to take time for them to get around to it.
I can't actually remember what they did to it as far as the buff went either, but I know they buffed it recently.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember either, but they did buff it. But
I have such a bad memory. My memory is terrible, guys. Where am I?
Stalker.
Where am I?
Stalker. I don't think Stalker is going to get like a special pilot that really transforms it, because it's one of those bots that just isn't sort of in that top tier. But Bulgasari is definitely a possibility. I think that would actually be really cool to see with the physical shield. I like bots with physical shields. I think Bulgasari is a good design. It'd be very interesting to see it getting a sort of a revolutionary pilot.
You know, somebody recently said something about, I don't remember if it was Islander or Chief or AD, but I guess one of them runs a Stalker and tears people up with it. And I was really surprised to hear that, to tell you the truth. It's just like,
yeah, I mean, two
moly.
light weapons is not very much.
Every time,
it's not nothing if you max them out, and Stalker has the advantage of actually being small enough, unlike most of the ground-bound stealth bots, that you can't really skill shot it with much of anything. You know, if you Loki and you're with Pursuer and Loki, you go up against a Mender, an Invader, or a Blitz, you're going to have some trouble because they're just going to shoot you regardless of what you do. But with the Stalker, you're short enough. You're basically shorter than anyone's weapons.
That is true.
So unless they have a hill, you're safe in stealth.
Dark Chaos, yeah, the new Hawk pilot. I do plan on making a video for that here in either sometime this weekend or maybe early next week. But I noticed the same thing. It doesn't seem like it insta-locks people. It's kind of got the accumulation just like other lockdown weapons. And that's
interesting, because that makes the control resistor a legitimate counter to it, because it doesn't insta-lock.
That is true, but it's what I noticed is I played a couple games with it on the new I forget what the new Hawk is called, but the new special edition Hawk, and
Crimson.
Yeah, the new Crimson Hawk. So I put Put damn Johnny on there. It's kind of, I know I said that wrong, but it's more fun to say it that way. That damn Johnny, right? But yeah, we put the damn Johnny on that hawk, and a lot of people were still able to escape before they got locked down. But it was still kind of fun. It's still kind of a cool pilot. I mean, I'm gonna give it a little bit more testing and give it a little bit more of a chance before I totally decide what I think about it yet. I can totally see where it would come in handy, but in some ways, I think I would prefer the not being able to get locked down or suppressed from the other Hawk pilot, just because when your Hawk does get locked down, half the time you fall right into a crowd of enemies because you can't get back to safety, and you're almost guaranteed to be exploded into teeny tiny little bitty pieces within about 3 seconds of landing. So I don't know. I'm not really sure which pilot I'm going to like better on the Hawk.
No, it's good to hear. I think it's good that it does an accumulation rather than instant lock. I mean, because the only thing that instant locks is lockdown ammo, and that is a pretty powerful effect that you're spending power cells on. So at least, if you're going to get it just from your pilot without having to spend extra resources on it, the fact that it gives people at least a chance to escape, I think is a much fairer way of using that ability. But that does make it sound like the Kyle Rogers is the better pilot of the two.
Wait a second. Ghost is over here saying he runs a stalker with 2 stings on it. Ghost, I want to see that on your next video. That just sounds like
he's trying to be annoying.
I want to see that on your next video, Ghost. If you guys aren't familiar with Ghost, he's got a pretty cool YouTube channel as well. I don't know if the bot actually posted P.G.O.'s channel, but it's supposed to post that here any minute, I would think.
Well, I can always post it again myself.
Okay, it says every 20 minutes it's supposed to post a link to your channel. But yeah.
And thank you, the wizard. Anyways,
yeah, go ahead
see.
and post your link, buddy. Post your link, because I don't know if the bot's malfunctioning or what, but we want to make sure people can, check out your channel as well. There's also a link to his channel in the description of this video.
Yeah, in the description. Yeah.
The Crimson looks like a samurai bot. Yeah, he kind of does, actually. I never really thought about that until you mentioned that. But yeah, it kind of does look like a samurai.
The thing that the Crimson reminds me of immediately is the Chaos Space Marines from Warhammer 40K.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a tabletop game. It's a miniature war game.
Huh, interesting.
Sci-fi one, but the red with the gold trim, it looks exactly like the Chaos Space Marines of Khorne, which is one of the evil gods in that universe.
I've never really played games like that.
You're just not as in touch with geek culture as I am.
No, I'm not. I'm not as much of a geek, I guess. You're. I gotta watch how I say that so it doesn't sound mean. You know what I mean? I
would never take that as an insult.
I was gonna say I'm not as much of a geek as you, but then I was like, oh, better not.
That's my brand.
Nothing wrong with geeks and nerds. You know what I mean? All people are cool people in their own way. That's the way I see it. As long as they're not jerks or as long as they treat other people well, nobody should have a problem with anybody else. That's how I look at it. Or unless they got a red tag over top of their head, and then you got to smash them up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's when you smash them up a little bit, when they have the red tag.
No sympathy for the Reds. No sympathy for the Reds. I actually love that notion that everybody can be friends until the name's in red, and then it's just no mercy.
Exactly.
And then after the game's over, you can go back to being friends.
Yes.
I love that sort of culture. And I mean, not everyone embraces it as much as some people do, but I love that culture of the War Robots community where people are able to say, outside of the game and when you're on my team, we're buds. And then as soon as you got that red name over your head, we are mortal enemies for those 10 minutes. I absolutely love that.
That is very true. You know, one thing I do notice is the majority of the people when they're not angry about the game, which you do see kind of a lot. There is a lot of angry people about the game in general, but like when you're talking and communicating and hanging out with other War Robots people, I mean, most of them seem like they're just nice, good people. You know, that they're not, most of them aren't very mean to each other. Like, especially if you go over to like Discord, not Discord, but Reddit, all right? Reddit's one of those places where people are just so nasty and mean to each other. It's horrible. But if you go over to the if you go over to the Reddit for War Robots,
the War Robots Reddit, yeah.
Everybody just gets along. You hardly ever see anybody cursing each other out over there. I mean, it's just such a nice place.
That is a product of a lot of work, honestly. I see how some of that sausage is made.
But I mean, I've been on that Discord. Why do I keep saying Discord?
Subreddit. That subreddit, yeah.
I've been on that subreddit for a few years now, and I mean, it's a great place to be. But speaking of Discord, War Robots does have a really nice Discord server as well, and most of the people over there seem to be pretty chill and pretty cool as well for the most part. So I think overall we just have a really nice community of people on this game.
Yeah. But my point about the subreddit is that lots of different subreddits have different subcultures because they're all moderated by different people. And I know that the moderators on the Walking War Robots subreddit work really hard to keep it from being a negative, toxic environment. Particularly JF Soul. I mean, I'm a moderator there now. I haven't banned anyone yet. But
yeah,
it
P.G.O. Congrats on, I don't think I ever said that, but congrats on getting the moderator.
I think you've probably mentioned
position. I might have. Like I said,
I'm still trying to get a feel for it. I'm still really new at it.
My memory sucks. But yeah, teaming up with other players in free for all, and okay, the only time that ever seems to work out is when you have a couple of T-Falcons on the field. But as soon as one of them dies, that person is no longer your friend. But the reasons I noticed T-Falcons don't really fight each other in free-for-all is it would take half an hour for one to kill the other.
It's not worth it, right? It's completely not in your best interest to actually fight that other T-Falcon.
Yeah,
because it's pointless.
So the best thing you can do is pair up with the other T-Falcons, run around and kill all the other robots and hope you're the one that gets the final kill. And then when it dies, you go back to killing that other guy. But yeah, I've never actually...
Nitro's asking what Reddit is. Reddit is just another social media... It's a social media website. It's kind of all it is. It's built around the idea of posting links to other websites and kind of collecting news and stuff, though. Individual subreddits kind of have their own purpose and culture.
I believe, I don't know about on the phone app, but at least on the PC, if you click on my channel, just go to my main channel, there should be a link to the War Robots Reddit page right there on my channel that you can click on. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to see that on the YouTube app for your phone. For some reason, it's kind of weird, but the phone app, you can do way less than you can on the PC, so... But if you got a PC, check that out if you'd like to see the subreddit for War Robots. There's a link right there. There might even be a link in the description of... I don't know about this video since it's a live stream, but I think a lot of my videos have a link for the Reddit as well, maybe. But it's just kind of like a chat room or a forum type place, but slightly different.
I'll just grab the link here and put it in the chat. But
all right, cool. Zach wants to nerf the Cossack. I don't know, man.
I know. My Cossack killed an Ojun the other day. It might be right. Never mind that it was already at like 20% health.
No, I don't think we're planning on doing any gameplay today, Farhan, actually. I think this is more just a discussion thing where we can actually chat with you guys instead of having our eyes glued to the screen while we're playing the game most of the time. So this is more just like a question and answer and, game news, opinions on things type of thing. But one of these days I'll have to squad with P.G.O on one of his streams. Maybe next, what is it? Is it
Saturday is what I'm doing regularly right now.
All right, maybe next Saturday I'll pop on for a game or two with you or something. I was kind of thinking about it last week, but I can't remember what I was doing. I was kind of watching your stream, and I think I was trying to have a conversation on like Discord, Reddit, YouTube, and like 12 other places at the same time.
Yeah, well, you're definitely welcome to come squad with me.
Yeah,
whenever.
that would definitely be fun.
Let's see here. I know someone was asking about the Ojun nerf. I'm just surprised that they felt the need to nerf it like 2 months in a row, like just a few weeks apart. They nerfed it twice. That seemed very strange.
I was shocked.
And my assumption was that the second nerf had something to do with trying to fix the bug with the flame breath, but. That bug hasn't been fixed yet, so I don't even know why they did that. So it's a little bit confusing to me, because, I mean, after the first nerf, it seemed to be in a pretty reasonably balanced place, but I don't know if they really felt like they needed to do it to push Hawk, or I really don't know. I was confused by the second nerf.
I was not expecting that at all. Like, I saw something about it, people were talking about it, and they said it was only on the remastered server, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not actually going to end up like that, but then it did, and I was like, oh my god, they killed my boy. But you know what? Even though they kind of drove him down into the dirt, like, I think if you put the right weapons on him, you can still have a lot of fun with that robot. But I really, really missed the extra flight time, and it's the takeoff. Not having stealth on the takeoff doesn't necessarily bother me that much, but not having the stealth on the landing, that's kind of rough, because you're up there for anybody to shoot the second your stealth wears off. So I wish they wouldn't have done that, honestly.
Fighting against Ojun, them not having stealth on takeoff is really a noticeable effect, because if you're running like a Blitz or a Nodens or a Quantum Radar, and you see them start to go up, and that's when you suppress them or activate your Quantum Radar, it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. They're so much easier to shoot the Ojuns down with Quantum Radar, because you get that second where you can activate it without losing your target. Like before, when they went into stealth immediately, you had to activate. You had to either guess when they were going to use their ability, or you had to reacquire the target after you activated Quantum Radar. Now you don't have to do that anymore, and it makes it so much easier.
I'm not really a Quantum Radar user, so I've never really thought about that. But yeah, that's a really good point. That's an extremely good point.
I'm probably the biggest Quantum Radar user, because anytime I drop below 10,000 power cells, it's Quantum Radar on everything until I get back up. Because it is kind of the least useful. I specifically use it.
I really wish they would at least buff the speed in the air again, so you get a little more time to get back to safety on the Aljun. I mean, they hit them pretty hard, but I feel that they hit them a little bit too hard. And they need to do I would love to see them. I shouldn't say they need to do it, because they don't need to do it, but I would love to see them just give them a little bit back, a little bit of something at least, you know what I mean? I would love to see them give them just a little something back.
No one expects the QR Ravana. Exactly. Exactly, Tempest. I feel bad that I don't run my Ravana anymore, because I can't say that. Because everybody runs phase shift on Ravana, except for me. I run QR.
Yeah, I've always ran Ravana or a phase shift on mine too. I actually pulled him back out of my hangar, and I've been playing with him. The couple games I got in today, I pulled out the Ravana, and I'll tell you what, as long as you can still get in close, I put my storms back on him. He was tearing some people up. Like the only thing I have a hard time with now is you got to be able to get in close, and when you hit his ability, he doesn't move that far. before he would dash way forward, and you could get in close really easy because he moved so far while he was still invincible. Pete the Dog, you just got a Goss. Congratulations on that. At what level will it actually work? That probably depends on what league you're in. All right, my main thing on weapons is your goal is to get everything to at least level 10. I mean, once you get into the higher leagues like Expert, Masters, and Champion, level 10 is your goal. Level 10 is your goal, in my opinion. Like, what I tried to do with my weapons is get everything in my hanger, everything that I use constantly, hit level 10. After I hit level 10 on everything, then I started focusing on my favorite weapons that I know I use the most to get up to level 12. So I'm still working on getting certain things to level 12, but yeah, I mean, if you're like if you're in the mid leagues like Diamond or Gold, you can probably get away with like level 8 weapons, but 10's really when weapons start to shine, in my opinion, and start to do halfway decent in the higher leagues. So that's my opinion on that one.
Personally, I don't like the notion that weapons start working at a certain level because everything is always on a continuum, right? Like, obviously, your league and what your level your opponent's stuff is matters. And there definitely are weapons that I think benefit a little bit more from being leveled up than others. Generally speaking, I think the burstier a weapon is, the more sensitive it is to what level it is, because it runs out of ammo and then your target's still alive, and that's bad. So when you have a more sustained weapon, it's a little bit less sensitive to level, but everything's always on a continuum, right? So you always have to sort of play off how much is it going to cost, how effective is it currently, and stuff like that. So so for a weapon like Goss, it's going to depend. It's going to depend on what bot it's on, I guess, to an extent, because if you're going to, I guess the biggest problem is how long are you using it for? Because if it's lower level than your other weapons and you're staying in the bot for a long time, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage for using a weapon that's lower than your other weapons. And if you don't want to focus on it and bring it up above the other stuff, then it really depends. It's something you're going to have to kind of play by feel.
All I know is P.G.O, we're not friends anymore because you disagreed with me. See,
well, I mean, your answer did consider that. You said, like, depends on what league you're in.
Yeah.
It depends, right? And you're talking about like leveling your weapons relative to each other, and that's what that's what's important is that you always have to look at stuff in relative terms, because it's a continuum. There isn't like, oh, this weapon gets good at level 10. It's like, no, it's better at level 10 than it is at level 9. Guess what? It's better at level 11 than it is level 10. Like, it's always a continuum.
That is true. I mean, I guess my main point there was I've just noticed once I got into Champion, most weapons, not all, but most, around level 10 is where I said, yeah, it's doing pretty decent here in Champion. So that's kind of why I came out with that particular answer. So yeah, it does depend on which league you're in and whatnot. And every weapon is a little bit different. And just so you all know, I was just joking. We're still friends. I think everybody understood that. You guys know I'm a goofy weirdo.
The thing that I always do is when I get a new weapon, I take it to level 9 before I even try it. I see people bringing in weapons at level 1. Like, I got this new weapon. I'm going to put it on my bot. And I'm like, you're just going to make yourself think the weapon sucks if you're running it at level 1, because all weapons suck at level 1.
That is true.
You got to level it up first. I get it to a minimum of level 9, and then I try it, because I'm just going to like confuse myself if I try running the weapon at level 1.
Yeah, level 1 weapons. I remember when I got the, what was it? The Nucleon. I threw a level 1 Nucleon on my Falcon. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see what this does. And I think I had like 2 damage, okay? By the time the battle ended, I had like 2 damage. Not 200,000, not 2,000, 2 damage. It was that bad. I mean, it was that bad. So yeah, you can't put a level 1 weapon on anything and expect it to do well. But yeah, some people do that. I did it. It was stupid. It was funny, but I never did it again. Curtis, yeah, I think we're gonna start doing this weekly if possible.
That would be it. Now, I have a question for you, Danny.
All right.
Great news, everyone. You can now join Danny's Discord server. Is that a Futurama reference or not? Because if it's a Futurama reference, then that means it's bad news. So I'm confused.
Is it a Futurama reference? Yes and no. Yes and no. Because
yes and no. Okay.
One day
One
day I said that and I was like, "Hey, I sound like the professor." And then I've started saying it ever since, just because I kind of...
Yeah.
It wasn't
because
originally...
the joke is that when he says that, it's always bad news.
That is true.
In reality. Because I love making Futurama references. That's my Mender's name. Once I tried to come up with names for every bot in my hangar that were references to Futurama. So I don't think I got further than Mender and the Inquisitor. Because the Inquisitor is kind of red, so it looks like Zoidberg a little bit.
That's funny. But yeah, if anybody joins my Discord, there's also there's a room on there for other people to post their Discord links, and P.G.O.'s Discord is posted in there, I believe. So you can easily find his if you join mine. And I'm sure the bot will be posting a link to P.G.O.'s channel again real soon, or P.G.O. Remember, you can always post your own links.
I'll pick up the slack if I have to.
Yeah, I think about every 20 minutes it's supposed to. Maybe I should have made it do your link a little sooner than 20, because it seems like it's a little more few and far between than I was thinking it would be. But Andrew, players, have a great day.
We already talked about our favorite bots. Farhan, earlier in the stream. So I guess you might have to scroll back in the replay or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the only reason I don't really want to go back and talk about something we already talked about is if someone's already in the room that heard it the first time, they're going to be like, oh man, they're just repeating old news, you know?
Yeah. We're going to have to see if we can come up with some Typhoon rumors for next week.
Flying Spag Bowl, all right? Unfortunately, I don't really have too many DOT weapons, except for on my personal account, I've got 2 Vipers, but that's it, I think. And on my Battle.Rec account, I haven't gotten any of the DOT weapons on there yet that I can think of. So unfortunately, can't do it. But that would be fun. One of these days, I really need to get some stings for my own hangar. Those things seem really fun.
Yeah, I'm working on wasps in the workshop right now. I'm up to like 32,000 components.
Nice.
But I don't know if I have time to level 4 wasps to put on a leech or a specter or something like that.
Yeah, that might be a very time-consuming thing.
So I might just have 40,000 components sitting in my storage for a while.
Somebody wants to know what our dream hangars are, and for me, there is no possible definite answer on my dream hangar because I love to change things around constantly. I like to play this and that, and I like to try weird builds. I mean, my dream hangar would be having every single robot and every single weapon to play anytime I wanted, you know. That's my dream hangar. So unfortunately, that might be a little bit disappointing to you, but I get bored playing the same thing constantly. So I just love the mismatch and whatever, you know. What about you, P.G.O.?
My dream hangar, I feel like I'm somewhat in the same boat as you. Like, I'm always changing it, but I'm always changing it slowly. So, like, I'm pretty happy with the bots that I have right now. I just want them to be maxed out. I want my bulwark to have two or three maxed fortifiers, and have it be maxed out and just go to town with the impenetrable shields. Not quite, but close enough. Yeah, I kind of just want my current hangar to be maxed out. That's what I really like. Nice. But, you know, as soon as I get my hands on a shell, though,
yeah,
that's going to change.
I'm pretty excited.
That's what I like to do.
I'm pretty excited.
I like to change it one bot at a time.
I want that thing. I'm really hoping. No one's really mentioned too much about the shell, surprisingly, but I'm guessing. Okay, don't quote us on this or don't quote me on this, but I'm guessing when Phase 2 hits in a couple of days,
That's my hope. That
we're gonna
is so
see
my
the
hope.
shell, and I hope so.
Oh,
I want shell so bad, but
I think it looks kind of silly, but
Yes,
it's just mechanically it just seems so fun, but it looks so silly. Like when the shields are knocked off of it, it's just like some steel beams and like a furnace.
one thing I said is, you know what? It came out just in time for Halloween because it looks like a big walking pumpkin.
It kind of does, yeah.
But it's a really cool
someone was
robot.
asking about someone was asking about my name and profession. I have not said my real name anywhere on my channel or anything like that, but I will right here exclusively tell you that it starts with the letter J. And I'm currently a student, though what I'm studying is business intelligence analytics. So I would like to be an analyst, possibly a user researcher for a mobile game company. That's actually what I'd really like to do. But
Yeah, that would be
or
cool.
I could be a YouTuber.
Yeah, YouTubers. One of the best things.
We'll see how that works out for me.
One of the best things about being a YouTuber is getting to interact with people. Like right now, it's pretty nice having a channel where you don't have a huge amount of subs, because I mean the more you get, the harder it's going to be to interact with your fans. Like my other channel is going on getting pretty close to like 18 or 19,000 subscribers, and oh man, it gets harder and harder to keep up with all the questions and the comments. I mean, I spend a few hours a day just answering the comments on that channel. On the War Robots channel, it's a lot easier to just get in there and, talk to you guys and stuff. So, but I mean, I love getting on here and answering questions and reading everybody's comments and stuff. I'll be sad when it comes to that day where if my channel ever really blows up, where it's just like, oh man, there's like 1 million comments today. I can't read them all. This is horrible. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome being able to just, there's so many different people you get to talk to and connect with and stuff like that. Being a YouTuber is a pretty sweet job if you're lucky enough to grow a gigantic YouTube channel or something.
Yeah.
Someday we'll be there.
I definitely prefer the interaction in streams over the interaction in comments. I don't know. Sometimes people like leave really low for comments and expect like interaction, and I'm like, I'll say something, but there's not a whole lot there to work with. And once if the channel gets bigger, then that stuff's probably going to get passed over. But sometimes when people make inside jokes and thoughtful comments, I do really appreciate that, and I love interacting on stream.
Yeah, it's
that
definitely
interaction
fun.
stuff is so fun. It's like the funnest thing. I love the real-time interaction with my chat. I almost feel bad that we haven't interacted more with the chat, but I feel like it would mess up, like in this stream, but I feel like it messed up the flow of the discussion.
Exactly.
To do more than just answer the questions. But it's great to see you guys, all you guys in the chat. I'm really appreciating it. And yeah, if the channels get bigger and those chats start flying by, I might just make another channel and do like underground sneaky streams with less people. Where I can talk to them more intimately.
Check out Road Warrior over there. He's got some nice things to say about my gameplay. Thank you, Mr. Road Warrior. I really appreciate the comments, and I'll put that in the. I'll talk to my HR department about maybe taking care of that and doing something about it. All right. Hopefully. Too bad I can't like comp your meal or something, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Now I forget. I was actually about to say something, and now I've forgotten. I cannot remember what it was.
Uh-oh.
Man, it was something about chatting with everybody on the live stream. Oh, yeah, now I remember. But this is actually kind of more fun, even though we can't, like P.G.O said, we can't interact with everybody as much as we'd like without kind of ruining the flow of the stream. this is so nice to be able to sit here and just read every comment as it's coming in, compared to when I'm doing the gaming. My eyes are glued to the screen and I got to keep glancing down, and I know I missed the majority of the comments. So it's really awesome to be able to just sit here and read everything that's coming in.
My problem is that when I start reading the chat too closely, I stop listening to you.
Yeah, I kind of, it is a little hard to pay attention and read at the same time, but like I have a habit of watching television and reading my comments at the same time, and eventually I got to the point where I can pay attention to both pretty easily. I still get a little distracted sometimes, but most of the time I can do both, which normally I'm not super great at multitasking, but I'm getting there.
Everyone's bad at multitasking. Multitasking is a myth. Sometimes I try to watch TV and play video games at the same time.
What the?
But then sometimes I'll try to do that when I'm watching an anime, and then I remember that it's subtitled, and I cannot do that.
Yeah. What just happened there? Nitro's message has been retracted.
Well, that just means he deleted it. Maybe he spelled something wrong. Sometimes I retract messages because I'm like, dang it, I can't edit on... When I send messages on Discord, I'll usually go back and edit them like 3 or 4 times within the first minute, because I'm like, oh, there's a typo. Oh, there's another one. How do I type so badly? What is going on?
Me, I make a typo and I usually just laugh at it and go, oh my god, that was stupid.
Well, the thing that you do is you use the voice to text, and I can just I use voice to text sometimes too, and I'll see the voice to text like picking up the wrong word, and I'm like, oh, there's Danny's voice to text going at it again.
I'll tell you what, me and touchscreen keyboards do not mix. Like, I try to push one key and it pushes 12 keys at the same time, so I started using the voice thing because generally that's more accurate than me typing on these stupid phone screens.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I'm on my phone, yeah, the buttons are just so small compared to my fingers, but that definitely contributes to some of the typos.
Ori, yeah, P.G.O also goes by Anti-Pirate. So you may know him as that.
That's my screen name. That's my tag. That's what you'll see me as in-game.
And there's a link to P.G.O.'s channel.
Most of the games I played.
Guys, a link to P.G.O.'s channel is up on the screen. If you guys could give him a couple subs, that would be amazing.
Yep. Working on getting up to 1,000.
He's getting close.
Get there eventually.
He's getting there. Not much longer.
I'm sitting at 666 today to match the version number of the game. But I'm not there anymore. I think we're coming up on where we intended to stop a little bit. I don't know if we have anything we want to do to tie a bow on this.
Well, let's see. I guess any last really important questions, guys? Because we kind of figured we'd stream for about an hour and a half here.
I feel like if we go much longer, we'll have nothing to talk about next week.
True. But, I mean, next week's a new week, so maybe if we talk about some of the same stuff... Yeah, maybe we'll get some
big news. Oh, well, there's something we can go off on. In just under 9 hours from now... No, not 9 hours. I'm getting this wrong. No, it's about 9. 9 hours. 9 hours, that's when the upgrade overdrive starts. So I hope everybody's silver is ready. I think get your silver ready.
I think you might have misunderstood it, or maybe I misunderstood it, but when I read it, I thought it said the overdrive was for earning more keys or something.
No, I'll double check, but they're doing two things, I think.
Oh, they're doing
they're doing the overdrive for silver, and they're also doing more OXP. Let me just double check this. Don't want to give people the wrong information.
Pete the dog says maybe we should have people write the questions for the next one. We
could come in with questions ahead of time.
That's kind of an interesting thing, but heck, I would probably forget them all. I don't have a printer to print them out or anything either, so that might be... I'm not really sure.
I could definitely maintain the list. I've got lots of screen space here in front of me. But yeah, we've got Thursday to Monday, so that's actually all weekend as well. All silver upgrades are 25% cheaper, and
Nice.
50% more operation experience from all battles. So,
Oh yeah, okay.
get your silver ready. You've done it right if you have 0 silver at the end. That's the right way to do it.
Well, I missed
The more
one.
you spend, the more you save.
I missed one and I misunderstood the other. So, thank you for
Yeah.
clearing that one up.
Be ready for that. Spend your silver. I've got over 100 million saved. I'm going to take my Nucleon from level 9 to level 12 to Mark II level 4.
I got like
At
20
least.
million saved. I probably upgrade like one thing.
Because they said they postponed it, right? They said, oh, we're going to have this. Oh, we have a technical issue. We're going to postpone it. That means, like, I took that as meaning they're going to have one soon. So I'm like, time to save my silver up.
Yeah.
So I've been upgrading, like, level 1 robots. I've been like, oh, this special edition robot's only level 1. I'll level up it. So that's to not spend any silver, because that's only like 100,000. So now I'm sitting at 100 million. It'll be nice.
That's a lot. That's
So
a
spend
lot.
your silver, everybody. Now is the time to do those module upgrades or those level 11, level 12 upgrades. Now is the time.
I remember the first time I saved up about 200 million silver. I was like, oh man, I've got so much silver, and then I did a few upgrades and it was all gone, and I was like, oh. It didn't go as far as I thought, but
I had 450 million saved up to level up 3 different modules while they did an overdrive, but then like it had just been so long since an overdrive, and I was just like, are they even going to do another one? And then I ended up spending it all leveling up my Hawk.
Mike
And then
Jones.
they had an overdrive, and I was like, ah.
Mike Jones, no, I don't have any kids, thank goodness. I can barely take care of myself. At one time I wanted kids, but now, nah, not so much. But yeah, man, it's kind of nice to have a whole bunch of silver saved up, but it goes so fast. Even when you have an overdrive, it does seem to stretch it out a lot more, though. That's one thing we haven't talked about. So before we go, again, Pixonic people, if you're listening, please give us some extra silver and gold, or at least cheapen the upgrades permanently, because
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. I'd like to see some changes to the honor system. I mean, one of the things they could do to get us more silver is just add more sources of honor to the honor system. I have a few pet ones that I'd really like to see, but maybe that's a topic for another day. We could do a whole day on the honor system. Maybe. I don't know.
Zach, we'll touch that in just a second on the Fujin versus Raijin. But yeah, a little bit more honor. I don't know, just something to boost our economy would be super, super good. Vic, that's
Road
funny.
Warrior's saying, are we too old to play video games? I don't think anyone's too old to play video games, ever. Video games are fun and are for everybody.
Oh, there's on the one game I play, we have a lady that's, I can't remember if she's in her 60s or 70s or something, that plays games with me on one of my games. So, yep, nobody's too old to play video games. That's what I'm saying.
Also, I started losing my hair very young, so don't take that as as a judge of my age.
All right, so we got a question: Raijin versus Fujin. I probably don't pronounce either one of those correctly either, but honestly, one is much, 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 much better than the other. All right, the big guy with the physical shield is
Yes,
about 100
Rajin
times
is much
better.
stronger. I
All
mean,
right.
it's of limited use in the current champion meta because
Yes.
it just doesn't have the mobility.
Yes.
But
yes.
if you can get it into a good location, it is a force. It definitely does some work. The Fujin, though, it just if you have energy weapons, it just evaporates.
It's good if the Fujin is good if you're a brand new player and you don't need a robot with any hit points.
Because there aren't any silver energy weapons. So if you're fighting people with only silver weapons, you just put up that shield and you're good to go unless they get thunders. Unless they get enough thunders pointed at you, then you die.
But yeah, in the higher leagues, you hardly see any kinetic weapons except for the cryo rockets. That's about it. I'd say like what? 80 to 90% of the weapons in Champion are probably all energy weapons, and Like the shield, like the Fujin has, doesn't block energy weapons at all. So, and you know, once that thing gets hit, it gets hit hard and it dies fast. So it's really, it really only has that shield to protect it. And once its shield's done, or once something goes through its shield, bye bye Fujin. So personally, that's a robot I would skip. I actually played my Fujin not too long ago on a battle. One of my videos, I mean, it did not do well.
No, because as soon as anyone gets energy weapons on you, you're done. You're just done because it's not fast. It doesn't have very much durability. It's just, I mean, it's not slow, but it's not fast. It's not at all fast. But yeah, it gets roasted.
Sniper. I think that's right. Sniper is a level 1 overdrive, the same as a level 1 thermonuclear module. No.
I mean, numerically, if the overdrive is active, sorry, level 1. No, it's the same as a level 6.
Yes.
Level 1 overdrive active is the same as a level 6 thermonuclear.
Yes,
but obviously you have to get down to 50%.
If you max out a thermal nuke, that gives you 15% more damage. But level
12,
1
right?
overdrive gives you 15% more damage.
I think it's 12 though, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's 12.
I do not know. I thought it was 15. You could be right though.
No, I don't think it goes up to 15. But anyways.
Heck, I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, no. Yeah. I could go look it up.
I'm going to look it up right now.
I do think we should...
Hold on, I'm going to talk into my phone. More robots, thermonuclear reactor. And it typed in...
I'll see if I can find other questions to answer while you bring that up.
It typed in more robots, not war robots.
Yes, because speech-to-text is still an up-and-coming technology.
That's how much I hate that.
Someone was asking about Glory Falcon. So the Glory Falcon, I think Glory is a very good weapon put on a Falcon, generally. And it actually still works pretty well with the effect chips. But between Titans and Falcon and the Soundwave weapons, I do think that that's going to be a tough bot to get far with, especially in the higher leagues. Kind of a shame because it is a really neat sort of tank to have, but it does have its problems now in the higher leagues.
I was
yes,
way
I can
off.
see the comments.
I was way off. It only has 10% maxed.
Okay, it's 10%. Right.
I'm pretty sure 10%. The level 1, whatever you call it, has 15%, right? You know, the whatchamacallit, the thingy we do
I
there?
think it might be 12. I think it might be 12.
Well, now I got to look that up too. Dang it. What's that called now?
Here,
I've forgotten what it's called. I'm having a senior moment here.
I'll get it for you.
How can I forget what this thing's called? Oh my gosh.
It's 10%. They're both 10%.
Really?
Yep. 10%.
I apologize, guys. I'm having a...
I knew they were the same. I was right.
I'm having some kind
10%,
of mental...
10% at level 1, 10% at level 6.
I think I have a brain tumor.
There's the hit points. But yes, I can see your comments, P.G.O. Ridley. I can see your comments. I'm actually here. I'm here. I'm here in the chat.
Overdrive
and I've also
units,
got the stream up.
Thank you, guys.
Anyways, my wife has not succeeded at putting the kids to bed. So now they're up way past their bedtime. So I think I should actually skedaddle.
All right, guys. This has been a blast. P.G.O.'s got to go.
Ton of fun, guys. So much fun. Can't wait for next week. But, I mean, I've got lots to do between now and then. I'm not going to wish that time away.
Post your link
real quick. Yeah, I'll post the link one more time.
And thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. This has been great. This has been so much fun.
I've been posting the Reddit link over and over again because I would put it to my clipboard.
Oh man.
Oh goodness. Let me get that back up.
But yeah,
how many times have I posted the Reddit link as my channel? Here's my channel.
Thank you guys so much, guys. All right, tomorrow I'll be on for a live stream during the morning at my normal time if anybody wants to come out. Next week, we should be doing this again as long as everything works out properly. And yeah, then Saturday, I'll have my own live stream as well, and usually right before me on Saturdays, P.G.O live stream. So, if you guys would like to catch a stream before mine on Saturday, that would be amazing. Please make sure to give some subs and some likes over on P.G.O's channel. Don't forget to sub and like my channel. Alright, if you don't, I'm going to send Arthur to your house. It might take him about 10 years to get there because he's really slow. And he's going to make you fill out a form asking you why you didn't sub to my channel and like it, okay? And then 10 years later, he'll show up back at my place and I'll get the answer. But anyways, yeah, I know, I'm stupid. But anyways, this has been a lot of fun. You guys are awesome. You got any last words, P.G.O, before we shut this thing down?
No, not just my normal sign-off of wish everybody luck in their battles. Wish them a good evening. Wish them a good overdrive. And I'm signing out for now. Got to get those kids to bed.
All right, P.G.O, you have a great night. Thanks for being part of this. Hopefully you get a few new subs and stuff. And everybody else, stay safe out there. And we are out, all right? See ya. All right, stream's ended.